Good evening everyone, if you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez and I am a filmmaker and a film critic, and today's film, since we're reviewing all the Bourne films, is the Bourne Supremacy.
Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. The Bourne Supremacy.
This is the sequel to the wildly successful The Bourne Identity, directed by Doug Liman. This time, however, the director's reins are taken over by Paul Greengrass, who tortures our protagonist in the very beginning and in the water, like the first film began. We see Bourne's lover die. His girlfriend Marie is dead in a car accident in India, and he is forced to come back to the very life that he left. Bourne is also suffering from flashbacks to his first kill. The special thing about this film to me is Matt Damon's performance. This is his film without a doubt. This is his movie completely. The first one was all about tradecraft. This one is personal. It's about Jason Bourne connecting more and more dots and making amends. You feel and see his pain in his speech, and you feel his pain just by looking into his eyes, and you can make a sense that there's a clear switch between badass Jason Bourne and nice guy Jason Bourne. The screenwriter Tony Gilroy said that he wanted to take Jason Bourne on a samurai's journey, and interestingly enough, this film to me reminds me of the Frank Miller run on the Wolverine comic back in the 70s or 80s, I believe, where he went to Japan. That comic book was also adapted into a pretty underrated film. They're both very similar films, and they both have scenes at the end, very somber scenes at the end, where the characters and they come full circle, where the characters confess their feelings. I must say though that although the script is written well structurally, it does lack a bit of smartness. The first film was very smart. Characters did smart things. Characters still do smart things in this one. One of my favorite scenes is when Bourne tricks a receptionist into giving Pamela Landy's room number. It's a very cool scene. But in the overall scheme of things, the way the plot is laid down is a bit plain. It's a mixture of a revenge film and an action film. This film has way more action than the first one. And because of that, it loses some of the excellent commentary the first one was giving on surveillance and the CIA and the way they do things. And it kind of made the CIA feel a bit dumb. How, you're asking? Well, let's see. Well, the plot is that Bourne is framed by another assassin, Kirill, played by a great Carl Urban. After he steals some files, he plants Bourne's fingerprint at the scene. The CIA not once questioned this move. They never asked themselves why Bourne would want those files. Now, if this was the film's theme to show us how the CIA is dumb and stupid, then I guess it works, but I know it's not the case because Brian Cox is still in the film, and Brian Cox does smart stuff. His whole plan and his whole scheme is really smart. So yeah, just a bit of a nitpick that Bourne is a bit more overpowered than the CIA when it comes to intellect in this film. Now let's talk about aesthetic, and I think I'm gonna be a bit mean right now. Paul Greengrass, you're the man, dude. You made one of my favorite films in Captain Phillips. You made incredible films in United 93, and the Bourne films as well, and Bloody Sunday as well. But man, I gotta say this. What happened in the mid-2000s? Were tripods just overly priced? Get a tripod for these films. There is a car chase in this film, the final car chase. It is one of the worst car chases I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes, that bad. It has too many cuts, it has too many close-ups, not enough wide shots, not establishment of location. It is all over the place. There's a really simple rule for cinematography, and you don't have to follow this all the time. But the thing is, if the subject is moving, don't move the camera. And if the subject is still, then move the camera. It's a very easy rule to add some dynamics to your shot. If you want to move the camera on a moving object, don't give Michael J. Fox the camera. I'm so sorry, Michael J. Fox. And the overall visual aesthetic is a bit random, and it doesn't necessarily fit in with this film. The color temperature and the look of this film mirrors a war film. This film looks like Black Hawk Down because of its high contrast color palette between green and black. Look, it looks like Black Hawk Down, and it just doesn't fit. This film should have been cold and blue and all that stuff, like the Bourne Ultimatum was. But it is forgivable, however. Paul Greengrass doesn't shine here as a physical filmmaker, but he does as an emotional one, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And the way he directed Matt Damon is brilliant. He's chameleon-like. You don't know whether he's bluffing or not. It's seen in an early interrogation scene. It's no wonder Matt Damon only wanted to work with Paul Greengrass after this film when it came to anything regarding Bourne. And again, Paul Greengrass also expands quite well on Brian Cox's character of Abbott by adding another dimension. Whereas Paul Greengrass's images are incredibly shaky, the editing is not. The edit by Christopher Rouse and Richard Pearson is incredible and kinda unique if you think about it. The flashbacks are edited like actual flashbacks. You just see flashes. a single flash, and it creates this other narrative to Bourne's already existing narrative. It's very cool, very unique, and it still works out today. Again, they feel like actual flashbacks instead of the elongated, long flashbacks you see in most movies. Now, this might be a nitpick, oh, what the hell, it is a nitpick, but I do have a problem with the casting of extras. The Bourne Identity felt like it had actual CIA people working there. This one, not so much. More prettier people started to show up in the background. And how do I know this? Well, Michelle Monaghan's in this. Michelle Monaghan plays a typist. I will never confuse Michelle Monaghan for a typist or a CIA employee, like ever. You can feel sort of the studio's influence on this film just a little bit, with the casting of prettier people and the color palette. So yeah, physically this film is not as good as The Bourne Identity, but emotionally it's a very strong film as well. This is Matt Damon's film. He delivers an extremely layered performance, and it's just crazy to think that he was working on this and Ocean's 12 at the same time, carrying that emotional baggage of Bourne and just walking onto Ocean's 12 set and just letting it go. It's pretty commendable. Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. I'm giving this film a final score, a similar score to The Bourne Identity, a 4 out of 5. I really liked and enjoyed this film, although I had some problems with the filmmaking, like not locking down the friggin' camera. But all that matters is that I was emotionally invested in Jason Bourne, and yes, I was emotionally invested in this film. Thank you so much for watching, people. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that free subscribe button. If you're new to this channel, of course. If you are not new to this channel, hit that like button, share this video, please. That would mean a lot to me. And until next time, people, I will see you again, but remember to love yourselves.